Hello everyone! Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin, which is trading at $117,712 after it set a new all-time high and accordingly a new July high. As I warned, the probability of this happening was quite high, and this situation was indicated on the monthly candles. Again, neither I nor anyone else can give you any guarantees, but nevertheless, what was highly likely to happen has indeed happened. I mentioned that after setting a new high, it's by no means certain that we'll see continued growth, for example in September. But it's also not certain that we'll see a decline. Here it's important to see how the August monthly candle will close, and we're only halfway through the month. So let's start with the daily candles, then move on to the monthly, weekly, and so on. So what do we see on the daily candles? We can see that after Bitcoin set a new high, it dropped sharply yesterday and engulfed the previous green candle, which had also set a new high. Candles like these, such engulfing patterns, usually signal a market reversal. But you can't interpret all of this so literally. Why? Because pay attention, we have two yellow levels, 190,841 and 117,420. The yellow levels are the boundaries of the range in which we were trading right here. This trading range was from July 11th to July 31st, right? Am I mistaken? No, I'm not mistaken. Well, almost a month. So we were in this range for about a month. Here I've marked it. And now we could also get stuck and remain in this range. And what could happen in this case? There could be a situation where altcoins at least show something, at least some growth, maybe some new highs. This is just a hypothesis. We'll see this situation a bit later, for example. I'm just imagining that some altcoins start showing daily growth of 10, 15, even 20%. That would mean the first signs of what's called alt season are starting to sprout in the market. But overall, right now the situation is actually looking downward. That's if we look only at the daily candles. But we can and have the right to talk about a decline, about its continuation, only when we see that the daily candle has closed below 117,420. The target of this decline is quite obviously the level of the 50-day moving average, which is around $115,200. And if we break through it, especially since we've already come down to it, the next target is the 100-day moving average, which is $118,436. That's it. No more, no less. Can Bitcoin go on to set a new high above the previous one? Absolutely, it can. But for that, we need to see two things. Well, first of all, we need to see, let me remove this tool. It's blocking the chart a bit. We need to see a breakout above the 119,841 level with a daily candle closing above that level. Secondly, and this is actually the key condition, the engulfing of this huge red candle. Until that happens, well, we can only speculate. Yes, the difficulty is that this red candle started forming roughly around the all-time high. So the entry point for a long position is rather questionable. Nevertheless, if we do engulf this candle, then in that case we can expect Bitcoin to rise up here, to the upper boundary of the channel. That's the area of $130,000 and above, but for now it's too early to talk about that. Now let's switch to the monthly candles and quickly go over them. Monthly candles. You can see here, the candle is green and it has set a new high. Well, so far everything is fine, the growth continues. If by the end of the month we see this candle turn red, there are some nuances here as well. If it has the exact same body but is red, meaning the wicks are longer than the body, that would be a candle of indecision and is by no means a guarantee that it's a reversal candle. But if this candle has a very small lower wick and a large red body, then it is very likely a reversal candle, which again does not guarantee an immediate decline in September. That is, it's not like we closed at some level in August and then immediately started dropping sharply. No, we could still go up once more, somewhere around $120,000, maybe $122,000, and only after that start to fall. But these are all just possible scenarios. For now, this is a continuation of the growth. There's nothing here suggesting a short position. That is, if you look only at the monthly Bitcoin chart. Weekly candles. On the weekly candles, the situation is fundamentally different from the monthly ones. Look, this candle from July 14th set a new high and closed with a red body, which is quite large compared to the lower shadow. Of course, it's debatable, but still. And this candle indicated a potential market reversal, and for 2 weeks in a row after that, we declined, at least setting new lows. The current candle for this week looks red. What it will look like by the end of the week, we can only guess. In fact, Bitcoin can change direction in just a few hours. Therefore, to draw any final conclusions, we need to wait for the weekly close. Nevertheless, at the moment, this candle suggests a high probability of a decline, at least to the level of these two candles, the green and the red one. That's $114,500, maybe a bit lower if this candle closes like this. But we still have 2 whole days left, Saturday and Sunday, and everything can change. Again, on the daily candles, we saw that Bitcoin can stay in a sideways range right here for a very long time. And maybe in that case, we'll see the start of alt season. On that note, I suggest we wrap up. We'll keep an eye on how things develop. In the meantime, leave your comments, like or dislike, and see you in the next videos. I promised to make a video about the stock market, but the situation in crypto made me prioritize and record a video about Bitcoin first. Still, the next one will be about the stock market. It will be either the Nasdaq index or the S&P 500 index. See you next time. Goodbye.